Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend some of that time with me. I'm Chris and this is XrossStitch, and today is Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. I'm so happy to have you here. If you are new to my channel, this is a channel about cross-stitching, and I talk a lot about cross-stitching only. That's my only needlecraft thus far on the channel. But I tell stories and I have friends drop by, and the channel is about more than that. So stick around. I hope you like it. I hope you like it enough to subscribe and ring the bell and become a regular member of the neighborhood here. If you're a returning viewer, I adore you. You're fabulous. You know that. I tell you each and every week, and I will tell you each and every week until I stop doing this channel. You helped make last week, my birthday, so incredibly special for the entire week. I read your comments. It took me literally all week to respond to them. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I can't think of any better way to have spent that day and the days following than in the company of all of you. So thank you so much. I tend to not, if you're new to the channel, I tend to not segment things quite like other people. So stick around. There'll be cross-stitching peppered throughout. There'll be all kinds of fun things peppered throughout. So just hold on. But the first thing that we do always start out with at the beginning of each of my videos is the from last time. And of course, last week being a big week, there was a lot of the from last time. But first of all, the first thing that I have to do before I do anything else is I have to get my friend Sal back with me, because we have a very special thank you to give. So Sal, can you come over here? Okay, all right, well, oh, excuse me. All right, there he is. Hi Sal, how are you? Good. It's good to see you. So we have one of my dear Flosstube friends is Somi Sarah. And Somi Sarah, I'm sure many of you know, she's in Northern Ireland, and she has a wonderful Flosstube channel, and she's just fantastic. Well, last week, to my great surprise and joy, her dear daughter, Charlotte, came on the channel, made a special appearance on the channel, and sang happy birthday to me. And it was just so wonderful. And Sal, she loved Sal, and Sal was so moved by it that he was moved to make a little special card for her, didn't you, Sal? Yeah, well, where's the card? You forgot the card. Well, that's okay. We'll just go get the card. All right, you ready? Hold on. There's no need to be frightened. Just hold on, okay? You ready? Okay. Now that wasn't so bad, was it? Okay. Well, you're holding a crooked. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for your wonderful song. We loved it so very much. Sal loved it so very much. Sal loved it so very much. We both loved it. Sarah, thank you for your kindness, for your friendship. And as I said in notes, I can't tell you how much it meant to me. So Charlotte, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you have a great week ahead. Good job, Sal. Okay, you want to take the sign back? All right, I'll see you later in the show, okay? All right. If last week you heard me refer to this amazing piece of driftwood, teak driftwood, as TEAKY, there is a reason behind that, and that is because of two of my viewers, one a fellow Flosstuber. It is because of the insight and creative mind of my friend Kathy at To Die House Flosstube channel, and my viewer Helen W. Together, they don't know that I'm doing this, by the way. Together, they have officially named this TEAKY, the Tree of 1,000 Faces. Kathy came up with the TEAKY component. And Helen came up with the Tree of the Thousand Faces component, or that's flipped. I think I got it right the first time, but at any rate, henceforth, this will be named TEAKY, Tree of a Thousand Faces. And you're still seeing things in TEAKY, Tree of a Thousand Faces. One of my viewers, GEERTJE, I think I did it right. She lives in the Netherlands and sent me a photograph of a fox that she saw in TEAKY. And I totally see the fox. I totally see the fox. Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching actually have foxes in their yard, and I'm so very jealous. I have squirrels and possums and, you know, the occasional skunk, but I don't have any possums. I do have coyotes, though, which is an altogether different form of canine. Not quite as cute and lovable. But that fox was amazing. We also have seen Martine B. She didn't send me a photo, but she says that she sees the Cheshire cat from Alice in Wonderland, which is great. I guess you could, I'm looking at it now. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. And CARLA C said that all she can see in TEAKY is Treebeard from Lord of the Rings, which I absolutely love because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. But thank you for naming TEAKY, Kathy and Helen. Thank you for continuing to send in all the creative things that you see behind me. I enjoy it. It helps drive conversation, and it's a really great thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you also for the framing suggestions. I've gotten a lot of them, and I'm going to be reviewing them and sending my Wizard of Oz piece off probably this coming week. So thank you so much for that. It's amazing how widespread and diverse you all are, and yet you suggested primarily the same 2 or 3 places. So that's very reassuring. It reassures me that I can indeed send that off and not be afraid of, you know, something dire happening to it. And it also makes me feel really good about the framers. So thank you so much for that. So I want to move rather quickly right into the cross stitching because I did a lot this week. I don't know if it was because I was coasting on the high of my birthday or because I really felt a sense of obligation, or really what it is I wanted to stitch a lot. I got my stitching bug back in full force. Not that it ever left, but I really got it back. And I worked a tremendous amount. Well, first, let me give you the start that I had. I started Modern Folk Embroideries, one of the newest charts, and I have to go get it. I totally could have just edited that normally, but I found that harkless sound effect this past week, and I was just like, oh, baby, that's going in. That's going into my video this week. Anyway, my birthday start actually, was a piece by Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery called MHD 1864, a Zeeland sampler. And I absolutely love it. This is my start. Doesn't look like much, but I actually didn't start it on my birthday. This one actually, and of course I'm going to be doing insert photos for all my whips and my starts and everything. This one actually has 3 colorways that goes with it. There is a very bright one, which is representative of the colors on the back of the sampler that was untouched by the elements and wear and just being displayed. There's a front version, a front side of the sampler version, which are those colors but muted because of the exposure to the sunlight, I'm assuming. And then there's a third colorway that is a blue and green. It's the blues colorway. I didn't start on my birthday because I toiled over which one I wanted to stitch. I had floss basically to begin any of the 3. And I toiled and I toiled. And finally I decided on the blues, which I think is just gorgeous. This is being done on a 36 count Edinburgh linen in cream by Wichelt. I love it so much. I love it so much better than what I'm doing Basket of Cherries on. It's smaller, yet easier to stitch on, and it's just a dream. I'm doing this 1/2, and I love it. I like the cleanliness of it. Because it is a reproduction sampler, I don't mind that occasionally you see the fabric through it, although the coverage on this is really quite good. I'll hold it up very closely and you can see that it's really quite good, just the 1/2 on this 36 count. And of course I'm using the called for DMC flosses that Jacob chose. It's just great. I wanted to start small, dipping my foot into the modern folk embroidery pond, as it were. That Fruits of Plenty is calling my name. I know I'm going to start it one of these days. It's just so incredibly gorgeous. But if it took me almost a week to decide what I was going to do this one in with 3 choices, imagine what it's like trying to pick 2 colors for that thing. Indecisive. That's me. But I'm very happy to start. And Jacob, it's amazing. I love it. I rekindled my love for Basket of Cherries by Blackbird Designs over this past week. It's a small chart and I really want to finish soon. And I'd love to finish this and we'll be able to say that I finished my first piece on linen. This linen is tricky. It's a loose weave linen and it's not the easiest to stitch on. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. It's just I don't have the neatness of stitch that I have with the Edinburgh by Wichelt that I'm using for my Zeeland sampler. It's okay. Another little hurdle that I found with this is that the DMC conversions in the chart, there are sometimes 2 choices for a single floss that was called for. So I've kind of had to use my judgment in those situations. And for example, what I was sent when it was kitted by 123 Stitch for the Bluebird was not really blue. They sent me gray. So I diverged. I used an over-dyed floss that was gifted to me. I believe that is a Classic Colorworks old blue paint. Long story short, I diverged on the flosses. I'm doing it. I'm matching it by sight to the image on the front, and I'm really happy with it. I'm pleased with the progress, and it's a pretty good jump. It's a pretty good jump from last time. Stitchy Witch 42, my friend Audrey, basically said she wanted to see my Mucha piece, and I love that. I loved it because that's just the kind of fire I need lit underneath my backside to get me moving on something. So I pulled Winter out and I worked a bit on Lady Winter. Not as much as I would have liked, but I did make progress. What I did was I cleared most of the parked threads that I had from the previous time that I'd worked on her. And she will move up first into my rotation after this video. I do love stitching this. It's such a beautiful piece. And if you have not watched Stitchy Witch 42 and seen her Alphonse Mucha piece that she's doing right now, you should, because it's glorious. It's larger than this, but it's absolutely beautiful. So Audrey, there you go. I love watching you. Thank you so much. Every week I mention my hashtag #SpookySummerStitch, and each week that goes by, more people are using it as we draw close to autumn and Halloween. I worked on Halloween Cat this week by Satsuma Street. I got a little more done on her. Started the tree, moving my way down. It's interesting as I'm doing this Flosstube thing and having more works in progress than I've ever had before. It's interesting to see that your progress when you have several and you want to work on several, you don't make huge leaps. You make small leaps. And when you do devote all your time to one project, for example, as I was doing with The Wizard of Oz, you make large leaps, obviously. It makes perfect sense. But I did get some done on Halloween Cat. I also worked on Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place. This is the chart that you guys chose for me. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I have another impetus to get busy on this because Steve, Crafty Old Man UK on Instagram, and one of the two Crafty Stitchers here on Flosstube has started this piece, and I know he's going to overtake me. He's put in 1 or 2 days, and he's already got half the leg. So I'm gonna have to lickety split on this one because I'm not gonna let him get past me. If you haven't watched them, please do. They're fabulous. The Crafty Stitchers, they're wonderful. But that was my second spooky summer stitch piece that I worked on. And here we come to the first great disappointment of XrossStitch as a channel. I've been working on When Witches Go Riding, the secret stitch along by the Tiny Modernist. You've seen it. It was going great. My only problem with it was that the gray that I had chosen, because I'm doing this in sulky threads, was too close to the background and not standing out enough, so I ordered some more sulky threads from the Cottage Needle in Oregon, and I got them, and they were fabulous. I got a set of grays in a pack, and one was kind of a grayish purple, almost like a, not metallic, but it was definitely gray, but it had a slight purple undertone to it, which looked fabulous with the brighter purple in this chart. I also got a variegated black into gray into white spool, which was amazing, that I was going to use for different parts of it. And I was going gangbusters on this sucker on Sunday evening. I was just so happy. And I started stitching that angel, and I realized it didn't look like it was centered to me. And so I counted. Well, not only was that not centered, somehow, some way, this was off in 3 different places. The witch was too high, the wording was off kilter, and the angel was not right because I had counted off of other parts. And I have no idea where I got off or how I got off in so many places. That does not happen to me. Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough just had a video, and she's like, I don't make these mistakes because when I make mistakes, I usually catch them fast. Same with me. I usually I'm off all the time, but I'm only off by 15 stitches or 5. But this was like major catastrophe in 3 different places. I'm going to restart it. I have to restart it. Those holes were bothering me from the first miscount that I did at the very beginning. I should have just started over with a whole new piece of material from that point on because it was doomed. But I will be doing that as a restart very soon. Next video, I will show you some progress on that. I'm behind on that one too, but I want to catch up on it. I'm way behind now. So that was my disappointment. I'll get over it. It'll be fine. I haven't restarted it yet because I'm letting the pain of it fade. But those were my 3 spooky summer stitches this week. I showed you my start last week on 100 Owls by Alphonse Embroidery. I worked more on that this week as a work in progress. This is an informal stitch along that I am doing, which is being primarily led by Michael at the Flosstube channel Star Parade. Michael is great. He's a Flosstuber from the UK, and using the hashtag 100OwlsSal, which is the original hashtag. This was a stitch along. It was an Alphonse Embroidery stitch along to begin with, and which has long since been over, but that's the same hashtag that he is using. And if you are doing that, I know some of you are, please do use the hashtag on Instagram so that we can see your progress. I'm loving this. I didn't get very far on it because, again, I wanted to work on a lot of my whips this week, but it's a great, 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 great piece. and I'm excited to continue with it. One of my viewers, either here or on Instagram, was like, it's got 30 some odd pages. Well, yes, it does. It really does, but they're small chunks. It's broken up into a lot of parts, but they're small parts. So, you know, not that it's not a big chart. It's going to take a while, but it's smaller pieces. So that was yet another work in progress that I worked on, and I believe that was all of them for the week. This is my Wheel of Stories segment, and it's going to be a little off kilter today because I was going through some photographs, and I found a photo of a birthday party that I had in 1976. And for those of you who have heard me say I was raised by all these lovely Southern women, I give you this priceless gem of a photograph. This was one of my birthday parties. Notice there are no children. This is my grandmother, who refuses to look at the camera. My Aunt Johnny May, standing in the back. And the two ladies sitting on either side of me are the McKenzie sisters, Jerry and Thelma. The McKenzies, as they were referred to, were the daughters of a pharmacist in our town who was long dead when I was born, but they continued to run McKenzie's drugstore. And this was one of the old-timey drugstores that you could go in. They had ice cream, and they could make malteds, and there were, you know, there were tables, and people would go to the drugstore to visit, to sit, and to eat, and to, of course, get their medications. And I don't believe that I don't think that they actually sold medicine during my lifetime. I think they had stopped filling prescriptions at that point, because I don't think that they were pharmacists, but they continued the drugstore. There were these huge ceiling fans in there, the wooden ceiling fans, and it was literally like walking into an episode of The Waltons almost. But the McKenzie sisters they were both spinster sisters. They neither one of them ever married. They lived together until the day they died. One preceded the other in death, but not by much. And they were just amazing. But I don't really have a story with them. Actually, I do. One year, people in small towns are funny, because they got bent out of shape at my mother for something that she did. And I remember very distinctly, prior to Halloween, they knocked on the door. And Jerry was the sweet one, and Thelma was the stern one. And Thelma said to my grandmother, Marie, we don't want Christopher trick-or-treating at our house this year. And I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday, and I was a little bitty boy, so I guess it did imprint me. And I don't know to this day what it was that my mother had done that got them upset with her. I think she might have broken a casserole dish at a fellowship supper. Anyway, I didn't trick or treat at their house that year. But I was back the next, because of course they got over whatever it was, and, you know, mother bought her another Pyrex, and then, you know, everything was fine. Small towns, let me tell you. I love this photograph so much. I just love it. That is a snapshot of my life. Me and the octogenarians. Well, actually, Granny wasn't probably 80 in that picture. Those are all septuagenarians. They're all at least in their 70s. But that explains me. The only reason that I'm including this photo is because it shows me with proof positive that I had 2 of the toys that I've previously discussed in the Chris's Toy Chest segment of Flosstube, which returns next week. And I have a great one for you next week. But this picture shows me with sporting a fabulous 1970 white tanked turtleneck. Gosh, I wish I had that now. But behind me, you will see the Fisher-Price Castle, which I loved, and you will see the Snoopy and Friends playset, which I talked about most recently. And by the way, happy birthday, Snoopy. Today, August 10th, is Snoopy's official birthday. One of my Instagram followers, J&J Easter, sent me that information this morning. And I just think it's so cool that Snoopy's birthday is a week after mine. I just think it's amazing. This week was a very low-key week for haul. I have ordered some things. They're not in yet. But I did want to share with you one of my birthday gifts that I got from a very special person who watches my Flosstubes. This is not a viewer. This is a person in my life. They gave me this for my birthday. It's my very first ever Dimensions kit. I'm so excited about it. But it's a Star Wars. It's the original poster with Luke and Leia. And this bad boy is going to be something else to stitch up, but I'm so excited to do it. And it comes with everything, and I'm just so thrilled. They knew exactly what to get, and thank you. You know who you are. So this was a great gift to open on my birthday last week. I'm going to take a little bit of time here, though, to discuss something, a comment that I received. And I'm going to read this comment because it was posted publicly. And this comment was from Sandy Ego Stitcher. We are going to name Handstanding Cat. I'm working on, I said it was going to be this week, but it probably won't be until next week. We're going to name Handstanding Cat because you've been so prolific with all your suggestions for it, and I appreciate them all, and they're really great, but there's so many of them. But Sandy Ego Stitcher wrote me a sweet story that I'm going to read to you. It's not long, but I'm going to read it to you because it has sparked me to have an idea. This is the story. I don't know how this started, but as a little girl, my sisters and I, when the Michigan weather allowed, would make my father come outside and walk on his hands on the front lawn. Because if your dad can walk on his hands, you just have to get the neighbor kids over every so often for a show. But even better, every time he did, all the change in his pockets would fall out, unbeknownst to him. We would clap, he would bow and go back into the house. Once he was safely inside, we would snatch all the change out of the grass. Candy money. Here's the rest of the story. We were adults when we told him why we actually had him walk on his hands, and he told us what he did in that minute after we called for him to come out and before he appeared was go into the bedroom, reach into his top dresser drawer, into a special recycled cottage cheese container that he had hidden in the back, grab a handful of change, and load up his pockets. All 5 of us kids and Dad had a big laugh together that day when we all learned the truth, and all those years he let us believe we were fooling him. My dad died in 2004. I'm hoping you'll name the hand-walking cat Ted in memory of my beloved, so very missed, fun-loving, hand-walking dad, Ted. Everyone deserves a dad like him. Yes, they do. And I'm not going to name hand-walking cat after Ted. That deserves something greater. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have back here on my table where Brain in a Jar sits, usually, I'm going to have Ted's change jar. And every video that I have done thus far, and every video that I will do until the end of the year, the number of comments will be the amount of change that goes into that jar. So if I have 534 comments, $5.34 will go into that change jar. And if I have 800 comments, $8 will go into that change jar. And if I have 1,260, $12.60 will go into that jar. And at the end of the year, I'm going to donate all of that money to Dolly's Imagination Library, which provides needy children with books, one a month, sent to their home. $25 can provide one child with 12 books during an entire year. And I'm sure we'll have more than that by the end of this year. And I will make that donation in honor of your dad, Ted, and the viewers of this Flosstube channel. So, there you go. I hope that is, to me, a much more fitting tribute to your father and the kindness that he exercised with the children. I believe in reading. I think education is fundamental to every aspect of who we are. And I can think of no better way to honor him. So thank you for the story. Thank you for the inspiration. And from now on, you'll see Ted's change jar back here on my console. Just so you know, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is a book gifting program that mails free books to children from birth to age 5 in participating communities within the United States, the United Kingdom, the Republic of Ireland, Canada, and Australia. All countries from which I have viewers of this channel. So I thought it was a perfect way to go about doing that. I have 2 recommendations for you this week in the Under 1,000 Subs Club. These are Flosstubers who have yet to reach 1,000 subscribers. Once you reach 1,000 subscribers on Flosstube, you're able to do a little bit more with your channel. And I was helped along that road, still am being helped along that road with subscribers by the kindness of other Flosstubers, and I like to pay that forward a little bit. My 2 suggestions, the first one is Sarah at Can-Am Stitcher, C-A-N-A-M Stitcher. I'll put it below. She is the sister of Victoria, the Happy Stitching Nurse, who I've also shouted out in the Under 1,000 Sub Club. Delightful. She does beautiful work. She does great finishes, and she is an incredibly relaxing person to watch as well on Flosstube. So I couldn't recommend her more highly. The other is my friend Ashley at The Stitching Penguin. Ashley does adorable things that I love, and when you see her, you'll know why. We're working on actually several of the same things. She does fun, whimsical stitches. She's working on the Tiny Modernist Stitch Along. Luckily, she hasn't had to start over. But she's hysterically funny, and I think you'll enjoy her too. So check those 2 out, Can-Am Stitcher and The Stitching Penguin. Thank you both for your great videos. I appreciate watching them, and I enjoy it when you keep me company stitching. So that's my video for today. As always, thanks again for... Hi. I guess he wanted to come back. Thank you again. He's a ham, but he's a sweetie. Thank you again for spending time with me today. I appreciate all of you more than you know. Thank you once again, Charlotte, for the sweet birthday song last week. And in the meantime, until next time, take care, be safe, and have a great week of stitching. All right? Let's say goodbye. Bye, everyone.